I know what you're thinking. Let's do something fun since no one watches anime anymore. Who will win? All are naked with no powers, abilities, gadgets, and weapons, and must survive in an island for 5 days. Who will be the only one left alive? Now, I wanted to change a little bit. I didn't want to just do 5 days, because realistically, anyone can survive for 5 days. Unless they mean fighting abilities. But then again, who's gonna fight for 5 days? You're not gonna fight that long. That'd be crazy. And I wanted to add in more characters because more characters is more fun. And I thought the best way to do this is with a tier list. My kind of tier list, where it starts like 5 and then it gets bigger. Trust me, I promise you, it'll get bigger.
Oh my god!
It'll get bigger, please. Don't leave yet. We'll start very simple. We got 56 characters, all from various animes. There are some that are from the same animes, because, I don't know, I just felt like some characters need to be a duo. Like, these two need to be a duo. Naruto needs to hang out with his son. There are some characters that are overrepresented, like JoJo. So I decided to limit JoJo to part 3, just so that we can have conflict with Dio. So first of all, we need to define what it means by power. So what I'm gonna define as powers, because obviously gadgets and weapons, you know, that's pretty straightforward. But for powers, nothing magical and nothing aura. So no nen, no ki, no chakra, just straight hands. Now, people think intelligence is a superpower, like Light Lelouch and Okabe. And yes, they will keep their intelligence. And also, Frieren will keep her experience, life experience. Frieren is still like 1,000 years old. Marcel's also an elf. And Pikachu's a giant rat. These characters with the mental capacities from episode 1. So Light has no knowledge of the Death Note, but he's still very smart. All right. There are some characters that are insanely physical and very strong. Like obviously Saitama is literally a One Punch Man. He doesn't really have any powers. He's just very physically active. Now, I would say no. You know what? Saitama's kind of broken. But Goku would also be strong, but he wouldn't be able to fly. We are also doing Dragon Ball Z Goku, like episode 1 of Dragon Ball Z Go, so he does not have any Super Saiyan abilities. But yeah, that's basically it. People will still have the same biology and physical prowess, just without the powers to enhance them. So Goku could probably bench 200 right now. That being said, based on all that, Pikachu, we gotta, God damn it, I already have to add something right now. Our first category is dinner. Pikachu would get eaten. It is what it is. There's no Ash to save him. He has no electricity powers. He is just a giant rat. He's very cute. I'll give him something. She would be like, oh, that's so cute. And she would be like, oh, that's really cute. The day will pass, and then the starvation will happen, and then they're gonna eat this bitch. I'm sorry, Pikachu. And another thing to add, Legoshi is also dinner, because even though he's a talking dog, a talking wolf, he's still a wolf. And there are some people in this, I'm not gonna name names just yet, but there's some people that don't fucking like dogs. Would fucking eat him. And Inukai, I know she's added here for lore reasons for this channel. If you don't know who she is, she's the girl that wants to everyone would be trying to eat Legoshi, and she would have the, you know, his furry parts inside her, and then die of sepsis. 53 are left. Next step is the naked factor. So remember, they're all naked. A lot of these girls are gonna be attractive, and we got some perverts. Nice. We got Denji, who's a pervert. Kazuya's probably a pervert. Kazuya's also pregnant. Mainly, I want to focus on is that there will be a certain character who will try to assault the naked women. Not this boy though. He's a sweet cinnamon roll. I would believe Meliodas is probably the biggest pervert. He's known for, you know, sexual assault, right? I haven't watched his anime. Yeah, okay, yeah, he'd probably fucking die. No powers, by the way. He's also like a hobbit, so easy. Unfortunately, since we do have Bochi, I like Bochi. Bochi's a great character, but yeah, I don't think, honestly, if you have severe anxiety, I don't think you want to be naked amongst 50 people. Anyways, let's start answering these questions. Could easily survive. These are the people that I think could survive if they were just alone on this island. And that's obviously Rin-chan, because she's a camping queen. The bias is hitting me. Okay, we'll have to come back on that one, actually. I think Edward would survive easily. I mean, he's done it before. He's done it as a child. He can do it as a teenager. Also, Denji would not be beaten to death, because even though Denji's a pervert, he respects women. Gon would also survive easily, because Gon's a hunter. He survived Like, that's what hunters do. Frieren has a vast knowledge of survival. She could easily survive. I think Levi could survive if he's alone. El Misato, for sure. Soldier. They're probably trained. Maybe Yor, maybe? Assassins doesn't really translate to, you know, Bear Grylls survival skills. You know what I mean? Now, I'm debating about these two because it's like, they could survive. Actually, okay, so we'll do another tier list. I don't think they need to be carried, but I think if the environment is favorable, if alone. Very important that we make that distinction because it will come back to that later. These two have the skills to survive, but Ren would need like a shelter, like a pre-made shelter, because I don't know if she can build shelter because she uses camping tools. And she could start a fire, which is pretty good, but hunting, I don't know if she's a hunter. Mao Mao's the same thing. I think she can survive on her own. But if there are poisonous mushrooms and she ends up just eating it because she likes eating that sort of thing, she could die. So only if favorable. I question these two. Oh, Ichigo could survive. He's a doctor, he's a nurse. Easily. Easy dub on that one. See, Saitama's interesting because even though Saitama's overpowered, I don't know if he has the survival skills. I mean, even if you are Owen Punchman, I think you could still starve to death. Joestar, Jonathan Joestar, and Jotaro. Oh, Dio. Yeah, Dio can survive. Easily survive. I think all the Joestars can easily survive. Actually, you know what? Let's also do could survive but we need to carry. These are the people that could survive, but they can't do it by themselves. They're like, you know, Anya. Like, Anya couldn't survive on her own. Oh, yeah, Yor would be up here, and maybe Tanjiro would be up here, too. And then, I don't think Nezuko would... Like, this is like, she's not a demon. She's just a sister, like a human sister. And I think Tanjiro would need to take care of her. Marcel also would need help. Reagan would say that he could survive, but I think he definitely would need help. I think the rest basically fall into that category. She would definitely need to be carried. I think Okurun could survive because he's book smart. I think Okurun could save Momo. Rentaro, yeah, favorable conditions. I mean, actually, no, he could easily survive alone. It's Rentaro, bro. He'll do whatever he can to get back to his girlfriends. Denji would definitely need to be carried. Actually, no, Denji would easily survive because he survived through poverty, bruh. I think Luffy needs to get carried, and so does Goku need to get carried. Nothing against these two. I think they're not that smart. Light can easily survive. He's a smart guy. Ah, me! It's me! I would easily survive. All right, so this is the first phase. Initially, when these people are stranded on an island, they're all naked. They don't know each other. Some people have relationships with each other. They're all trying to survive. They've killed Pikachu. Poor Pikachu and ate his fucking body. Now they have to try to hunt for food. However, there are certain characters that have bottomless stomachs and need to eat a lot to survive, or they will die. And because of that, I think these two would eventually just die from starvation. I honestly think those are the only two that might just die from starvation. I mean, it wouldn't happen right away, but eventually they would be worn down and then they would just die. The rest of them only need like a human amount of food. These people are freaking aliens. There are some characters that fucking hate each other, like Dio and the Joestars. Some characters that are just truly fucking evil. Drama is going to happen, and it's important that we establish that. So actually, I'm gonna have to real quick. First of all, we need to clarify that there are some characters that would start fights. These two would start fights. Ah, well, Joseph isn't really involved. He's just chilling and vibing. None of these characters have weapons, but they can fashion weapons from the island. We haven't really established what kind of island they're in. I would just assume it's a simple, like, you know, castaway island where, you know, it's a desert island. There's trees everywhere, so you could probably make wooden stakes, wooden weapons, you know, like Lord of the Flies sort of deal. These two would probably fight it out, and then Mikasa would fight Levi. And then Levi's not a villain, but Levi would just be pissed off at Eren for putting him in this situation. These two would not have a good relationship. I'm smarter than you. No, I'm smarter than you. He would be my L. Because get it? Because it's Lelouch. My Lelouch. Spike would be the kind of guy that would try to get in the way of like the conflicts and be like, hey, stop fighting. You need to like calm down, so you get involved as well. Reagan would also get involved because that's the kind of guy Reagan is. He's a good guy like that. Try to intervene. Misato would get involved. Shinji's a little pussy, so he would just watch. I feel like Gojo's the type of guy that wants to get in fights. This guy too, I guess. I feel like Naruto would low-key just stay back. I don't think Naruto's the kind of guy that can intervene. You'd be like, who the fuck are these people? Why are they fighting? You know? Oh, Ichigo would definitely try to stop a fight. I know Guts is like the badass guy, but I think Guts would just kind of stay back and let it play out. I think he's the kind of guy that does that. Yeah, I think we're good on this one. I think the rest would kind of just, you know, stay out of the nonsense. Now, while this is all happening, there's going to be a character that might fashion up a shift. Someone would accidentally die from this conflict. I dies. I get stabbed. She definitely would get stabbed. This, I think, would cause factions. I think factions will need to be formed now. Faction 1, leader is Dio, because he fucking hates the Joestars. And I think Dio is gonna be the very charismatic type. He's probably gonna be like, hey, we need to do this if we want to survive. And I think certain characters are gonna be attracted to that sort of thing. I think Makima might be like, wow, this guy is very strong. I'm gonna kill him. And then Denji obviously would follow Makima because he's a simp. Gojo would definitely go join Dio because Gojo's a fucking piece of shit. I'm just kidding. I don't know who he is. I think that would be a thing. Eren would probably go, which is by extension Mikasa. Levi's a good guy. I think these guys will be faction 2. And I think the leader would have to be Jonathan. Because, you know, Jonathan is also kind of like a charismatic type. He would probably be a very level-headed guy. Dio is probably going to be the more flamboyant, be like, hey, more loud, in contrast to Jonathan, who's more like, hey, guys, let's all chill. Dio's like, hey, this guy's a fucking moron. We need to do this if we want to survive. I think Light would be attracted to Dio. Tanjiro, being a good person, would probably fall under this too. And then, you know, by extension, his sister as well. Usagi would probably want to build with Joestar because she's the pure of heart. Kazuya would probably go with Dio. I think Kazuya is more of a Dio kind of guy. Kazuma! Saber is a very righteous person, so she should join here. I think Lylus and Marcel would probably vibe for a while. Mama would do her own thing. Rin would do her own thing. These guys would all do their own thing. I think Joseph would realize that, hey, I think that's my grandfather. And all right, so we have 2 factions forming. I think Kazuya would probably be like trying to spend money, and then Chizuru would kind of be like, the fuck are you doing? We're trying to survive on an island. Why are you trying to hit on me? You know what? I think I gotta add this. Because let's be honest, I think, you know, this is episode 1 Kazuya, so he just got dumped by Mami. And so he can't get over Mami. He tries to hit on, he'll try to get with Marin or Chizuru, and then they'll just reject him because, you know, he's a fucking loser, and it's really not, it's very inappropriate, so he would just literally die from depression. So 2 factions have formed. Obviously, we have the bad faction. It's smaller. We have the good faction. The bad faction are very conniving. These guys will probably form a 3rd faction. Just like, hey, we just gotta survive, you know? Oh, I didn't even realize she was here. Shoko from Silent Voice is death. I think she dies from an accident, let's be honest. I think she's gonna die from an accident. Just girl's accident prom, she's fucking dead. Now, these people would survive if they were alone. However, we need conflict. These 2 are now at war. Dio wants the Joestars fucking dead. Gojo, I don't know what the fuck Gojo's doing. Oh, you know what? Marin would hear the name Gojo and be like, Gojo-kun, is that you? You're doing cosplay? Now time will pass. People are gonna be starving. People are gonna think, man, dude, I should have added a cannibal. God damn it. I should have definitely added a cannibal. Oh wait, he's a cannibal. Ooh, wait a minute. Would Laos kill people to eat them? We're limiting on food, and I think people need to start killing each other. All right, so the next stage, a faction 1 would do a sneak attack, and these are the casualties. Unfortunately, they're gonna be armed, sharp, and they have killer instinct, and people will die, namely Deku. I think Deku would die from that. He wouldn't make it. Poor guy. Usagi, since she's just a teenage girl, would probably also die. Reagan would sacrifice himself to, you know, save someone. Probably the Kamado families. Probably them. Just because I don't know who this guy is, I think he dies. Okay, guys, anytime I look at the JJK fandom, no one ever talks about Yuji. Like, no one gives a shit about Yuji. I think he just dies. No one gives a shit. Everyone cares about this guy. Boruto die? You know, if anything, and I hate to do it because I'm so biased towards Naruto, would sacrifice themselves, it would happen. It would happen. Tanjiro too, but I don't know if he would die just yet. I think he's still good. I think Jonathan would get killed because Dio really wants Jonathan dead. Oh, he definitely gets fucking killed. All right, meanwhile, these guys are still vibing. They're the 3rd faction. These guys are the 3rd faction. They'll be like, what the hell's going on? Why are these 2 fighting each other? The next day, you'll see the casualties. 6 casualties. Wait, or 8? 7 casualties. You might be thinking, wouldn't Shinji also die from depression? No, this is episode 1 Shinji. So faction 2 probably want revenge. Mainly Boruto, maybe. Boruto might want revenge. Will he be able to pull it off? No, he doesn't. Dio will probably be like, hey guys, let's not fight. Everything's chill. This is when the meme happens. Who will be the only one left alive? Which means something compels these characters to fight each other. And they will fight each other. And now we're at that point where, yes, certain characters will get corrupted, like Dio and Eren, maybe Spike. Gon might go crazy. Certain characters will start going crazy, and they'll start killing each other. Certain characters must die, which means we need to kill off the weak. Marin gets murdered. A lot of the schoolgirls are probably just gonna die. She dies. Ooh, this is gonna be a tough one, because Anya would need to be protected. But I think Yor can easily protect Anya for now. Okarin and Momo. Ooh, I don't know, man. I'm sorry. I think Okarin would just die for Momo. Or maybe the opposite. But I think Okarin would absolutely die for Momo. Mikasa would definitely die for Eren. I think Eren would try to fight Levi because Eren gets corrupted. And then Levi would nearly kill Eren, but Mikasa would sacrifice herself. But Levi would be severely wounded. So actually, we need to add another tier. Severely wounded. That doesn't mean they're dead, but they would definitely be wounded. Gojo is also evil because he murdered Marin because he's a fuck. Okabe gets killed because he's not gonna do anything. I think unfortunately Kirito might get killed as well. I believe Jotaro and Joseph would be severely wounded from Dio. I'm gonna come to the fact that Dio is super fucking strong. Like he can take a lot of guys. Lelouch would get wounded because he's a fucking stick. Ichigo as the doctor would try to tend to all of them. Yeah, Tanjiro would be severely wounded. He'd probably try to protect Nezuko. And Misada would also be severely wounded. She'd probably try to protect Shinji. I think Yor would be hurt, but not wounded just yet. We're making progress here. We're making progress. The next stage, the gods of the island have decided to make themselves known because, you know, you need a godly presence to bring all these characters from different worlds together on an island. This is when the god says, hey, by the way, the only way for you to escape is if you're the last survivor. And then they fade away. And this really riles up all the evil characters. Gon is really like angry. He's like corrupted. Dio's corrupted. Light is trying to figure out the best way to kill people. He's probably laying down traps right now. And honestly, I think some people would get caught in it and then they probably die. So I think the next stage, Light will probably lay out traps because he wants to kill people. He wants people dead. So I think, yeah. I'm sorry, Frieren would probably die from a trap. I think Mao Mao would probably die from a trap. Because Mao Mao would try to be picking up like foraging for things, and then she'll forage a grenade and explode. I don't know where you got a grenade from. Fall into a spike trap, that's how she would go. She'd probably die from that. I think Rin Chan's a bit more clever than Mao Mao. Realizing that this has happened, I think certain characters will probably join the factions. Rintaro, Guts, join the Joestars. Because they're the good guys. Certain characters are probably still doing their own thing. Oh, I think Yor and Anya would join the Joestars. Yeah, those two would join. Momo is pissed because she'd probably want to get vengeance. Actually, you know what? No, she would die trying to get revenge. I don't know who killed Okurin. Probably Dio. Because let's be honest, Dio would do it. And then Momo would try to get revenge. And then Dio would just beat the shit out of her. I'm sorry, Momo. She would die. Beautiful smile. All right, next stage. Characters are going to get even more hungry. And there's no more food because they ate Pikachu. Pikachu was like the only animal there. They can't eat the plants because, you know, you can't just eat trees. So, some characters, namely Leos and by extension Marcel, are gonna resort to cannibalism. Probably Lelouch, because he's a fucking twig and he can't escape. And then I think, oh, Denji could also become a cannibal. I think Denji might be a cannibal too. Hey, Denji's a fucking hungry boy. And he's probably C0 too, and probably thinks of power. And then Makima is like, hey, wait a minute. You remind me of someone. And then she kills her, and then Denji eats her corpse. Fucking Anya, bro. I think Anya might be next, but I think Anya is young enough that I think she could survive still. Okay, so hear me out. I think Guts would try to protect Anya, and then Yor would protect Anya. I think Rin would get eaten by cannibals. I don't want it. But you know what? They are fighting. So yeah, Honestly, we need to establish the cannibals. We have now, we now have cannibals. Would Gon become a cannibal? I think Gon will do anything to survive. It's hard because I don't think I think Nezuko would be a cannibal if she was a demon, but this is episode 1 Nezuko, so she's not a demon just yet. But I think she would get eaten. I think she'd get eaten. And so Tanjiro. I think Tanjiro also gets eaten. I don't think they could protect. I think they would try to eat Tanjiro. Nezuko would not be able to protect him because Gon is a fucking murderer. Gon and Laios would easily overpower her, and then they just eat her as well. She'd get eaten. That being said, Denji would get killed. But they've killed a lot of people along the way. We've made a lot of progress. There are 23 people left. And I like how Saitama is just doing his own thing. But Saitama will want to fight. And I think he want to fight Dio. I like how Dio is like the guy. He is the guy. And then Gojo would want to fight. Oh, the next stage is these characters would challenge the strongest fighters and then die. Characters that have a lot of honor and integrity and realize, hey, I don't want to murder you guys. I'm going to fight you fair and square. Gojo dies. The fight between One Punch Man and Dio. Now, we need to see if his punching abilities is his power. He is technically a very strong guy. He's an OP character, but I'm not sure if that's considered a power or not. If it's not considered a power, I think Dio would easily kill him because he's got a very small frame. He's severely not the same weight class. I think he would just die. I think Dio would win. I think Spike would also die. At this point, Dio has fashioned knives, so Dio literally would be cheating. He would just be killing people by cheating, and then, you know, these guys are very honorable. They're fighting with their fists. Shinji's tending to Misato. Makima's planning things. Probably gonna plan with Light because they have the same hair colors. They're like, hey, you're really smart. And he's like, damn, you're really smart too. And they probably try to riz each other up. Guts? I think Guts would probably challenge the strongest fighter. But would he die though? I don't think he'd die. I think he gets severely wounded. Dio probably would not die. Ultimately, I think Dio is like the final boss of this island. So, we've whittled it down a bit more. Now we have to get to the point where certain characters, Dio is the top dog. He's the godfather, bro. Everything revolves around Dio, which means there's gonna be people under him that are gonna plan for his downfall. But they're severely outnumbered because currently Faction 2 is much bigger right now, and I think we need to figure out how to deal with this. I believe Faction 1 would probably work with the cannibals. They would work with the cannibals and form a strong 7. Marcel is still, I think still like, you know, but think of the children because Anya's still there. Anya's still alive because Yor, by the way. Yor's very strong. I think Yor could probably take Dio. They would probably attack. So, based on that, I think Yor would get severely wounded. I think this is where Misato just fucking dies. Because these guys are under the protection of Faction 2. And I think by extension, Shinji dies as well. Poor kid. I think Edward would be severely wounded. Rentaro? I think Rentaro would probably sacrifice himself. I think Marcel would just get killed. Now, around this time, this is the perfect time for them to betray Dio. Faction 1 is now being controlled by Light. Light is now the leader. Makima supports. Eren is kind of pissed off. He's like, hey, what the fuck are you guys talking about? I'm the leader. And then Eren would get killed by his own faction. The cannibals are still hungry. They're eating their friends. Levi has just been eaten. Oh, you know what? Dies from their wounds. I think there are some characters that would just actually die from their wounds. I think Edward would die from his wounds. Levi just never fucking dies, to be honest. Jotaro would never die. I don't want to say it, but I think Joseph would die from his wounds. Guts is still fine. Saber? We need to do another fight, but these characters die from their wounds. So, I think we're almost set for the final battle between the cannibals, Faction 1, and Faction 2. And Faction 2 is still trying to protect the severely wounded because they are the good guys. These guys are good. Anya's still fucking alive for some reason. If Yor ever dies, Anya dies. It's just what it is. However, I think Taro, since he is a dad, probably feels compelled to protect Anya. So she has 2 protectors. So Light and Makima need to really, really think about how they're gonna be able to kill this team. And they can't rely on the cannibals because they're really fucking hungry. So, What do we do now? I think what happens next. We never actually said that these two were killed. They were just betrayed. Dio hasn't died just yet. I think Aaron is dead though. That would fall into this. Dio pulls a Hail Mary. Dio pulls a wild card and decides to burn down the whole island. The characters that are severely wounded cannot move. And so they all die from a fire. So we don't need to worry about severely wounded anymore. Actually, I think Guts could survive that. I think he's still safe. I think these characters just die from the fire. I think at this point, Taro is protecting Anya. Saber and Ichigo have decided to go fuck it. We're on our own camps. Light and Makima are still working together to try to be the last two standing. Cannibals just want to eat, and they're gonna try to eat Guts. But I think Guts, despite being severely wounded, I think Guts can kill Laos, and I think he kills Gond. And the cannibals are finally dead. We don't have to worry about cannibals anymore. Guts is severely wounded still. And I think, at this point, I think Guts is put out of his misery. I think he gets backstabbed by Light, because Light's a bitch. So now, at this point, I think Makima and Light are gonna fight Ichigo and Saber and Taro. I think we'll have a final battle, which ultimately, I believe, these two will die. I think these four would just survive. Honestly, yeah. And there we go. That is my tier list. Honestly, I'm okay with this list because it's kind of fair. Because Ichigo, you know, Ichigo is strong. He's got medical skills to back it up. He's got good of heart. Taro Sakamoto, you know, he's got all that weight. He's a big guy. He's strong. He's got the assassin abilities, and he would definitely protect Anya. Saber, there's no bias whatsoever. I think Saber would be fine too. And we need a woman to survive, right, guys? Right? This is perfect. Anyways, that's what I think would happen if we followed this meme and had all these characters. What do you guys think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Leave a like if you liked the video and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And don't take this too seriously. Power scaling makes no sense sometimes. Anyways, I hope you have a good day. Okay, bye. But Satumi, the meme says only one can survive. Okay, fine. If only one can survive, then Taro Sakamoto would win because of the tunnel effect. Are you happy?
100円ください。